What's good, Wahoo Nation? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and also hit the thumbs up down below on this video. So for today's video, I will be doing my 2025 edition of teams that I want to beat the most in this upcoming 2025 season for UVA football. And basically, I've got these opponents ranked 1 through 12. And as I've said before, you want to win every game, but some games you get up for more than others, so to speak. So ranking the importance of each game, I guess is how you could call that. So I'll start from the bottom up at number 12. And number 12 is William and Mary. I mean, it's an FCS opponent, and the only real significance about this game is that William and Mary, they're coached by Mike London, who used to be the head coach at UVA. And so I know, again, it's an FCS opponent. I know that William and Mary, they pulled off that massive upset back in 2009, but that's really about it. So I got William and Mary at number 12. Number 11, I have Coastal Carolina. So Coastal is who we open the season against here in just a few short days. And, we beat Coastal pretty good last year on the road, and we got to play them at home this time. And I'm not expecting too much out of Coastal this year. Now, this game is important. It is the season opener. It's season opener, and we'll all get a good idea of what this team will be like this year. So, but that's really about it. So I got number 11. I've got Coastal Carolina. Number 10, I have Washington State. So Washington State, they're still in the Pac-2, if you want to call it that. And so they needed to schedule some Power 5 opponents, and they do. And Virginia is one of them. Now, we have never played Washington State, I don't think. And so we play them in Charlottesville this year. And then I think next year we play them in Pullman. So, but other than that, I mean, I got Washington State at number 10, and then number 9, we have our first ACC opponent, and that is Stanford. So we have never played Stanford before either. I'm pretty sure that we haven't, and I believe this game is at home this year. Now Stanford, a lot of turmoil within the last few months with that Stanford program. They have an interim head coach with Frank Reich. I'm not expecting too much out of them this year. I think they'll be at the bottom of the ACC this year. So, seeing how it is our first time, though, I'm going to have Stanford ranked a little higher. And then we're going to stay in the ACC at number 8, and that ACC opponent is Cal. Now, Cal, this is their second year in the ACC. Yeah, they went 6-6 last year. I know they lost a lot from last year. We'll see how things play out. But this game for us is on the road. We have to fly all the way across the country to play Cal for a conference game to Berkeley, California. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So at number 7, I have Wake Forest. Now, when I did this list last year, I had Wake Forest ranked higher because of that losing streak that we had to them. We hadn't beaten, prior to last year, we hadn't beaten Wake since 2007, and we broke that streak. We also broke another streak. This was our first win in Winston-Salem against Wake Forest, and that has not happened since 2002. So 2 streaks were broken last year. Wake had been a thorn in our side. We play them in Charlottesville this year, and because we beat them last year, that's why I don't have them ranked as high as I do. And so number 6, I have Duke. So Duke, I think, surprised a lot of people last year. New head coach with Manny Diaz. He took over for a very successful coach in Mike Elko. And so Manny Diaz did good. He picked up right where Mike Elko left off. And so I think Duke could surprise some people this year. I know they lost a lot of players, most notably their quarterback in Malik Murphy. And so we'll see how they will handle that this year. So I got Duke. Got Duke at number 6. And then number 5, I have Louisville. So It's been a little while, actually, I think, since we've beaten Louisville. And so we haven't beaten them. We haven't beaten them since 2021. And so it's 5 years. And, they used to be an annual ACC opponent. I don't think they are now. I could be wrong about that. They became our second rival behind North Carolina and Virginia Tech. And then when Maryland left the ACC to go to the Big Ten, Louisville came in and they were basically our new Maryland, and we would play them every year. That's not the case anymore, but still, it's been a few years since we've beaten them, and of course, I would like to change that this year. I know Louisville, with Jeff Brom in his third year there now, and so I know they're a good team, and that's a team I would love to beat. So I got Louisville at 5. Number 4 is Florida State. So if you guys remember, the last time we played Florida State was in 2019. That was a game that I went to, and that was still to this day the best college football game I've ever seen in person. If you guys haven't seen that game, go back and watch it. It's definitely worth the watch. But Florida State, this is their first, this is a critical year for them. And obviously Mike Norvell is feeling the heat down there in Tallahassee. New coordinators on the offensive and defensive side, new quarterback, basically new everything. Mike Norvell, he knows that his job is on the line, and so we got to perform in this game. And this is actually a trophy game. A lot of people don't know that, but this is a trophy game known as the Jefferson Epps Trophy. Whenever Virginia and Florida State play each other, there's a trophy involved with that. You guys have to go look up. I'm not going to, spend all day explaining the history of that, but you guys would need to go look it up. It's right interesting. But Florida State, I would love to beat them. A lot of this talk about them trying to leave the ACC, and yet they couldn't even win 2 games last year. So yeah, I'd like to embarrass them even more. Number 3 is NC State. So NC State, it's been a while since we've beaten them as well. We last played them in 2023, and of course that was the return of Brennan Armstrong when he transferred from UVA to Raleigh to NC State, in a game that we should have won, honestly, but it is what it is. A game we should have won, but we didn't, and so we need to avenge that loss. Now, this year and next year, we do have games scheduled against NC State, but they're actually non-conference games. They will not count towards ACC play. And so, but we have not beaten the Wolfpack since 2012, and that game actually took place in Raleigh. And so we need to change that this year. They were a disappointing team last year, I thought. Talking about NC State, I thought they were a disappointing squad. And so we'll see what happens. I think this is a game that a lot of people are not giving us enough credit for. I think that we can beat NC State this year. And that's a big losing streak that I would definitely like to change this year. And so number 2 is North Carolina. So last year was an embarrassment. Another game that I went to. Seems like I go to these games that are just not very good for us anyway. That's another discussion for another day. So the big significance, of course, is the arrival of Bill Belichick, the head coach at North Carolina. Yes, that Bill Belichick, the guy who won 6 Super Bowls with the Patriots. He's now jumped down to the college ranks. He's now the head coach at North Carolina. He takes over for Mac Brown. So North Carolina, they went from one old washed-up has-been to another old washed-up has-been. So obviously, you want to beat your rival, and North Carolina is our second biggest rival behind Virginia Tech. And so, you want to beat them. And I know in 2023 we pulled that massive upset where North Carolina was ranked number 1, or no, they were 10th in the country. That was when they had Drake May at quarterback, and we embarrassed them on their own. We only had one win at that time, and yet they were the number 10 team in the country, and we went on the road and upset them, and that pretty much derailed their season. And so this game is in Chapel Hill this year, and we'd like to go back and do it again, and I think we can. So we'll see what happens. And speaking of Virginia Tech, it's a no-brainer. Virginia Tech is number one. Biggest game of the year. Obviously, it's a rivalry game. UVA broke that streak back in 2019, but I mean that was just a flash in the pan because they have beaten us every time we've played Virginia Tech. They've beaten us every year. So they've beaten us now for the fourth time in a row, or they've beaten us now 3 games in a row now, and so I think we've only beaten them twice in the last 30 years, and so we have got to change that this year. Talking about coaches that are feeling the heat, Brent Pry is one of them, and so we'll see how things will turn out in Blacksburg this year. This game is in Charlottesville, but obviously, no matter what the record is, Virginia Tech is always going to be at the top of the list for teams that you want to beat the most. So that's my list of teams that I want to beat the most this year in 2025. Leave your thoughts down below. What is your rankings for opponents this year? Who do you think should be higher or lower? Let me know down below in the comments section, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, go Hoos.